What do you think is the biggest waste of money by our federal Liberal government? Now, I'm sure you might have a long and extensive list like I do, but if we had to choose just one thing, for me anyway, it would be the $2.65 billion we committed to help foreign countries deal with climate change. No matter your position on the science, there is still debate about how effective we might be at preventing climate change, rather than simply spending the money to adapt after any changes might occur. And whether it's been foreign aid for climate change or any other issue over the past few decades, it does seem like the biggest problem is the money just simply doesn't get to the people that truly need help. Instead, the funds often go to line the pockets of tin pot African dictators and UN bureaucrats. So in an effort to find out what was really happening with our hard-earned tax dollars that Justin Trudeau seems more than happy to give away as he runs our nation deep into debt, Conservative MP Tom Kumeek put forward a order paper question asking the government to provide information as to who and how much money was going to various countries and how many jobs for those developing countries our dollars were being used for. And well, the answer from Environment Minister Catherine McKenna leaves much to be desired. So far, out of that original $2.65 billion that was announced in November of 2015, $638.2 million has been distributed. Nearly half of that alone, to the tune of $300 million, is going to the Green Climate Fund, a UN body that has been operating since 2010. But the Green Climate Fund is not without major criticisms, and it's not just from climate skeptics. Some see the Green Climate Fund as a massive, wasteful bureaucracy that doesn't actually accomplish anything, or that its role is redundant in a world of numerous climate change bodies. In fact, there are 35 others under the UN banner alone. I think it's safe to say that that $300 million is gone for good, and its impact on the lives of people abroad is likely going to be negligible, sadly. The second biggest item is about $200 million for African countries under G7 initiatives, including $150 million for renewable energy and $50 million for climate risk insurance. And if there is anything we have learned in this country, and the US for that matter, is that government money being dumped into renewable energy often means the croniest of crony deal-making goes on. Think about those green energy contracts that were given out in Ontario, or the famous Solyndra scandal in the US after they fleeced the US government for over $500 million. Don't for a second think that Africa is any different. This is exactly where our money is going, to line the pockets of African cronies who are in line to score contracts and provide unreliable green energy. You know, the sad part is we've identified a real problem, but come up with an immoral answer. Energy poverty and a lack of electricity is a big problem in Africa. Running water and electricity can be the key, along with the emancipation of women, to ending poverty anywhere in the world. And we should be ensuring these people have cheap and plentiful supply of energy that will not happen unless we encourage more fossil fuel use, from coal to fracking for natural gas. Africa needs it all. And Canada, well, we could lead the way if we wanted. But most alarming of all is this answer in the order paper and the vagueness and lack of detail about how and where the funds are going and what jobs are being created. If this were a private company and they put out a report like this, it would be laughed at as lacking any detail or oversight as exactly what's happening with the dollars being assigned to all this stuff. It says $300 million here, $150 million there, but no details about specific projects or communities in Africa or anywhere in the world who will benefit from this. Just vague descriptions about where the money's going. And the answer on the jobs being created is equally as weak. Just look at these points. I'll read a couple now. Quote, many of the initiatives Canada supports through its climate finance will contribute to alleviating poverty and unemployment in developing countries, with a focus on empowering women and girls, unquote. That's great, but how? Like I said, the best way to empower women and girls is giving them a cheap and reliable electricity supply via fossil fuels. But there's no mention of that, of course. How about this other one here? Quote, Canada announced in November 2016 that $1.8 billion of our pledge will help mobilize private sector investment in developing countries and contribute to the creation of employment opportunities, unquote. You know, that's just more meaningless platitudes to me with no specifics. And the way I see it, the only thing being mobilized is that $1.8 billion down the drain, along with countless other billions, as our country falls further and further into debt under Justin Trudeau. For the Rebel.Media, I'm Christopher Wilson. Thanks for watching. You know, we keep a close eye on the globalist agenda of Justin Trudeau and his Liberal Party, so make sure you click subscribe on our YouTube channel. Never miss a video.